بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب زدني علما.
Okay, so probably in this topic, we'll try to see the different challenges of the traditional methods of network management. So if you remember in the previous, we have discussed the different management options. So what is network management and what are the different management tools generally the network engineers use. So, so what are the challenges you'll see? Like the the main challenge is the larger the network, the larger the IT staff. Because if you're using traditional methods, like one of the challenge is depending upon the size of your network, so the number of people or the number of devices you maintain. Of course, the size of the network also decide the number of devices you are going to run, and that is also going to increase the number of people or the staff required to maintain that particular network. So this is one big challenge. So if you are running a very big network, again, that's going to increase the requirement in general. So the requirement is nothing but increase in the IT staff as well. So that is one kind of challenge. So the next thing is like the the frequently it requires the knowledge of multiple operating systems. Now what this means is, now if you take an example in your network, we do have some network engineers, and these network engineers need to have knowledge of multiple network operating systems, because you normally see any specific network. Let's say this is my network running. So it's a little bit rare that you're running all Cisco devices, like all Cisco routers, Cisco switches, Cisco firewalls. So probably you may be running different vendors, normally different vendor list. Like you might be running a Cisco routers, or maybe you also have some Juniper routers in your network. Then you do have some Cisco switches, as well as apart from that you have some HP switches or Arista switches. Like that, you got different platforms. Let's say you got a mix of multiple vendor devices, and so which means as a network engineer, in order to maintain your network or to manage your network, you need to have the knowledge of all these things, of course. Or you can have a specific individual who specializes on specific vendor. So apart from that, the more problem comes again when you talk about Cisco. Again, in Cisco you have Cisco IWS, XR IWS, even you have Nexus, NXOS, again you have IWS. Again, you have slightly different operating systems in different platforms or different platform or devices. So the command line will differ again. So the way you configure will automatically differ. So which means you need to learn that command line as well. So that should change for each and every iOS. Again, if the vendor changes, again that may change totally. Okay, so to manage these things, you need to have either a specialized engineer, like you can say, okay, I got an engineer A who is responsible for managing all my Cisco devices, and I got a separate engineer B who is going to manage all my Juniper devices, and let's say C probably managing your Arista devices, and probably this will again increase the staff requirements. So because when you are going with individual specialized engineers on each vendor, again that is going to increase the staff requirements. And and again the problem comes when any one of these employees on leave, or let's say he is on leave for 2 weeks, or probably he exits the company. Now again it becomes very difficult for others to manage, because probably the like B and C may not be able to handle the job what is done by A. Specific, like finding the right person to manage is going to be a big challenge again. So so what the options? So either you need to have a separate engineers for each vendor. That's the thing what I said. Or you can have a group of engineers. Probably they should have the knowledge of all the vendors. Again, that is going to take a lot of time, because they need to learn. The learning curve will increase, and that will make the network engineers to more focus on learning, which means less they are productive for the company network. So this is again another challenge you will see with the traditional network management because of having different network operating systems. These are the two different challenges what you will see in general. So next thing, the knowledge of SNMP configuration, because as I said, most of the networks run SNMP programs to monitor the network, right? So which means the network engineers working in your company or the network admins so must have the knowledge of SNMP configurations, especially SNMP, how it is used, how to configure that, or how to manage that particular SNMP with a probably there are two things they should know. One is they should know how to manage that on the server side. So you're running network management server, so like the GUI. So which dashboard, which option, where to go for what option. At the same time, whatever the end devices or the network devices you're running, and these network devices like you have Cisco, Juniper, again, different vendors. So he should also know how to configure these particular devices to enable some of the SNMP alerts, so that these particular alerts should be sent to the server. Okay, so the network engineer has to be familiar with not only with the GUI of the SNMP server or the software. Also, he should know the different options, how the different options what you have inside the GUI. And apart from that, he also need to know the command line configuration of individual devices. Again, that is again leading to learning curve, because the more, because they will take some time to learn these options as well. So this is one more challenge you will face with the traditional network management. Now the other options are like there is something called box by box management. Now the box by box management is something like, let's say you got hundreds of devices, hundreds or thousands of devices in your network. In remote sites in your local, you got some firewalls, routers, switches, and some other devices. So if you want to make any change in the configurations, or let's say you want to make any configuration changes, or maybe let's say you want to upgrade specific software updates you need to do, like an example. Now we need to go to each and every device. We need to log into that particular device via command line and execute whatever the commands. Of course, you have to remember all those commands as well. And you have to do one device at one time and then move to the next device and then do the same thing, configure and move to the next device and so on. So the same repetitive task you have to do on each and every device. So probably this is going to repeat the same task multiple times, which is going to do a lot of time consuming. That is one of the limitation. And again, if you are doing some kind of troubleshooting, let's say, instead of configuration, let's say you're doing some kind of troubleshooting, again, the same thing applies. You need to go to individual devices, verify the configurations or verify with the specific show commands, and then move to the next device and do the same thing again and again. Okay, so you can still use some kind of notepad probably. That is something you can still do it. Like the next thing, like there is something called notepad you still use, which is the common tool or the favorite tool which most of the engineers use. So with the help of notepad, you can save a lot of time, especially when you are doing some kind of configurations. Let's say you have to implement some OSPF configurations and some BGP configurations, or maybe some ACL NAT configurations with few slight changes on, let's say, hundreds of devices. So what I can do is I can copy paste this configuration in a notepad, and then I can do some basic editing, some few change editings, and then I can copy paste, log into each and every device and copy paste on that. And then I can save these config files as well. That is something I can do. But the problem comes, what if you make a small mistake? Maybe you have assigned the same IP to multiple devices. So you forgot to change the IP address, or you forgot to change the host name, or you forgot to change some IPs, whatever. So if you do any kind of mistake, which means again you have to log into each and every device and correct that mistake. And let's say you have completed on all 100 devices, and after that you realize again you have to repeat the same thing. You need to log in and then make the changes on each and every device and change. So that is going to take a lot of time again for troubleshooting. Okay, so Notepad you still use, but still there is a possibility of configuration errors, and also there is a possibility you lose the document. So you will say, okay, I'll save all the configurations, like the router 1 configurations, router 2 configurations, router 3 configuration files. You save them in a place, and what if you misplace those files or you lose those particular files? Then again, that is kind of one more problem or one more challenge you will see. So these are some of the options I have listed, what you generally find in the traditional networks when you are managing your network. These are some of the issues you will face, and that's where the network automation comes into picture. Okay, so with the help of automation, we are going to minimize most of these challenges.